Hello and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way, where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. In this video, we're going to be looking at Zen Brush 2 for Windows. Now, in this series, we've been looking at Zen Brush 1 and 3 for Android. But in this one, we're going to look at Zen Brush 2, and it has not... Zen Brush 2 was never released for Android. I think it was released for iOS and obviously Windows, but it was never released for Android. So I just wanted to go ahead though and show you how it was compared to Zen Brush 1 and Zen Brush 3. So here you see that it is in a landscape mode, and it had black and red inks that you could choose. Now it doesn't have all the colors that you can choose in Zen Brush 3, but it does have again all these different backgrounds, and that the ink will sometimes change for the different backgrounds, especially if you use the black ink. So if you use the red ink, it will, I think, stay red on all the backgrounds. No, there it goes, it changes. So it also changes on some of the backgrounds, like the metallic backgrounds and graffiti type backgrounds. It will override the red or black setting on the ink there. And as you can see at the bottom, it has 3 different shades of the red ink and 3 different shades of the black inks. And it also has the size. You can set the size of the brush, and it also has an eraser. But it doesn't have the function that Zen Brush 3 has, where you can add a whole lot of water. It was more just sort of a more complex version of Zen Brush 1. And so as you see here, you can have brown ink if you pick these tan parchment type backgrounds. And of course you can erase the whole picture if you hit the little trash can icon there. And here I'm showing that you can do some really thin lines with it, just like you could in Zen Brush 1 and also in Zen Brush 3. So here I'm just showing the different sizes that you can do, and that it does a pretty good thin brush and also a thick brush. And here you can see the different opacities of the ink, where you have it dark or you can have it light. And also it will do the red inks. And so here I'm just kind of playing around and showing you what it'll do there. That it'll do these different squiggly lines, and you can get kind of a pretty good approximation of ink brush there. So Zen Brush 2 was pretty good too. It had I like that it was in portrait mode. Of course, I had to get it on my Surface Pro tablet, though, for it to work for me, since they didn't have it on Android. And in here I'm just kind of playing around with the size of the brush and the opacity of the colors there. And as you can see, it has the 3 different shades. And you can also put it in portrait mode, or you could put it in landscape mode. And then here were the different backgrounds. They had all kinds of Japanese paper backgrounds. I think it may have had a little bit more backgrounds than Zen Brush 1. I know that it had about the same backgrounds that Zen Brush 1 had, but it also had some more. And as you can see, they have all kinds of patterns. It did have pattern backgrounds, and then it has those metallic backgrounds where it changes the ink into kind of a acrylic looking ink or spray paint type of a style. And then it has blackboards and light, shade, concrete walls, just all kinds of different things to make it look like graffiti. It has that kind of neat effect, and they have frames around them, so you can also save the frames and have them exported out as a JPEG file. And so then you can have different colors of paper. And I'm just kind of going through there. Here's the patterns with the cherry blossoms. And then they have these really neat autumn patterns where it changes your ink into a bright orange or a tan. And those are really neat. I like the seasons that they have here. And this is winter, so they're dark. And you can have kind of a luminescent look against the black backgrounds. But I want to go back to the autumn ones and show you that you can do some really neat leaf patterns, and just kind of it has a different color. It's got a sort of a yellow ochre, I suppose, or something like that for the ink there. And then you can go ahead and set your guides. It does have guides in this, which you don't have guides in Zen Brush 1. And it does have some things like your pin pressure and things like that you can change and work with. And again, this is on my Surface Pro 5. So it's a little bit more advanced than Zen Brush 1 for Android. And I don't know if they're going to release Zen Brush 3 for Windows or not, because so far I haven't seen it. So far they just have Zen Brush 2 for Windows. And then here I'm just kind of playing around, showing that you can make a leaf and just use the yellow ochre style ink there. And then you can go ahead and click on the red ink and add that, and just kind of get kind of a little bit of a shading if you wanted to with that, and it gives it a really neat effect. And then you can kind of add the veins of the leaf with the red ink there, and it just kind of has a really neat style and a neat look that you can do. And again, you can erase these or you can go over them, so it's different than just traditional ink, because you can actually paint over different layers. It would be sort of, I guess, like an acrylic ink. And so I'm just kind of showing that you can add a little bit of shading there. And so this is the end of part 3. And this was just kind of an overview of all the Zen Brush apps, 1 through 3. And I'd have to say that I really like Zen Brush 3 the most now, because it just has the most features to it, and that I can have it on my Android. And also that it just has all these new wash features and a little bit more complex things, a little bit more colors of ink, and you can do more things with it and do different backgrounds. But I like all 3 of them. They're fun little apps, and you can make some really neat effects with them. You can do all kinds of neat, quick ink sketches, and you just kind of have to play around with it and just see what you can do with all of them, and see how you can export them out. And you can export them out, I think, and go ahead and use Photo Zoom 8 to enlarge them, and you can probably get prints that way. So I would encourage you to just play around with these apps, and you can get some really neat effects with them. So everybody stay tuned for a new series. It will be coming soon, so hit the subscribe button. We're going to review another app. And thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions or any suggestions about what you would like to see next, leave them in the comments down below, and I will catch you later.